I think that it is important to lever the stories of our heroes to shape the future that you're going to build. So the first story I want to talk about is a story about levering what others may see as a disadvantage and lever it to your advantage. And it is the story of a woman that people call the First Lady of Engineering. Her name was Yvonne Young Clark. Yvonne Young Clark was born in 1929, Houston, Texas. And she was sparked into engineering because of an opportunity that she had to fly a plane as a teenager. And one of the things that I love about Yvonne Clark's story is that is the exact same inspiration for my 22-year-old niece, who is a SWE member, joining the engineering field. But Yvonne's career involves a number of firsts. She was the first woman to graduate with a mechanical engineering degree from Howard University. She was the first Black woman to graduate with a master's or earn a master's degree in engineering from Vanderbilt. She worked for NASA on the Saturn V rockets that took us to the moon. She worked at Ford and Westinghouse, and she was the first female Black engineer at RCA, the Radio Corporation of America. She was the first female engineering professor at Tennessee State University, and she was the first Black member of SWE. So I don't think there's any question why she's called the First Lady of Engineering, right? But you have to put yourself in the era, the 1950s and the years that followed. There were a lot of people that didn't think that Yvonne Clark could or should be an engineer because she was a woman, because she was Black. But Yvonne never let that get to her. She would remind herself that there is nothing wrong with her, that it was the people discriminating against her. They're the ones that had the baggage. And she, in her words and her children's words, Yvonne Clark wasn't going to carry anybody else's baggage. So there is a very good story about Yvonne Clark levering her mind to overcome other people's baggage. And it actually happened at a SWE conference. The year is 1957, and SWE is holding their annual conference in Houston, Texas, Yvonne's hometown. And she goes down to the conference, and when she gets there, the hotel owner, he says, "You can't come in." Yvonne says, "Why not?" He says, "Because you're Black." And Yvonne says, "But I have my papers. I have my papers that have a reservation for this hotel." And the hotel owner says, "I don't care. You can't come in." Well, the SWE leadership, they found out about this, and they stood by Yvonne's side. God bless the sisterhood and the solidarity of the women of SWE. Exactly. And they went to the hotel owner and they said, "If you deny Yvonne Clark access to our conference, then we're moving this conference. And we'll make sure every paper in America knows exactly why it is that we moved out of this conference." So the hotel owner, he relented. And he allows Yvonne Clark to attend the conference, but she is forbidden from walking around the hotel without being chaperoned. And his thinking was, by her needing to be chaperoned, it would make her small. But this is where the genius of Yvonne Clark comes in. So Yvonne says to herself, she says, if people in this hotel are so curious about my presence, then I'm going to walk every part of this hotel. So she and her SWE colleagues make quite the event of it. They walked in every part of that hotel. They went to the gift shop, and they went to the restaurant, and they went to the lobby, and then the restroom, and then back to the gift shop, and back to the restaurant. They had a grand time. But the major point here is that Yvonne Clark made it very clear to the people in that hotel that I am here. I am here. So the fulcrum was the racism of the hotel owner, and the lever was Yvonne Clark's positive mindset, to which she said, "I do exist, and I will be seen," right? And what I love about this particular story about Yvonne is it was done so graciously. Sometimes it's not about being hard like fire at the mountain to get on the other side. Sometimes it's about being soft like water to get on the other side of the mountain. So SWE did not return to Houston for many, many, many years. They returned in 1997 in Houston, Texas. And this time, Yvonne joined them, and the city of Houston gave her a plaque, a key, and an apology for how it is that she was treated in 1957.